Hi Meg, welcome to From the Stage Door.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. First question is, have you always had a passion for theatre and performance?
Yes, definitely. Always did it as a child, as a hobby. And just like really enjoyed it. But it didn't really go any deeper than that. It wasn't like, I want to do this as a career when I was really little.
Yeah.
And then I went to Stagecoach for my sins, and I worked on the UK national tour of Jesus Christ Superstar, which was actually at the Hippodrome. When I was about 15, and sort of through meeting the cast, working on the adult cast, that's when I sort of realised that, right, I need to go to drama school to do this properly. And I set my sights on drama school, and that was it really. I never looked back. It was just the only thing I wanted to do then.
Cool. And what was your first ever theatre job? Was that Jesus Christ Superstar or?
Yeah, it was. That was my first professional job.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the theatre. But then as an adult, after graduating, my first theatre job wasn't until about 5 years after I'd graduated. I just did TV, film, and radio. And my first theatre job after I graduated was Anita and Me.
Cool. So who was your greatest influence growing up?
Do you mean like
either professionally or in your private life?
Gosh, that's a really difficult one. When I was really little, I got quite obsessed with Titanic.
Okay.
And I really loved Kate Winslet. And I remember hearing stories about Kate Winslet got her first job on a that cereal with the honey monster. Sugar Puffs, on a Sugar Puffs commercial, and then she got her first movie role when she was 17, and that was Sensibility with Emma Thompson. And I remember being like, "Oh, I'm going to do that. Yeah, sure. How hard can it be?" So as a child, I really wanted to sort of follow that career path. First feature film at 17, blah blah blah. But then sort of when I was older and more aware of the industry and how it works and stuff, I guess I was more sort of influenced by people I worked with, directors that I've been fortunate enough to work with, and I'm trying to think if there was a specific teacher and things like that. Gosh, it just feels like it's just a big melting pot. I just love everyone that I work with, basically. But in terms of career, I always really, really liked Hermione Norris from Cold Feet.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to meet her once, just after I'd graduated drama school, and she was just so lovely. But I think professionally, she's someone that her career's been really, really varied.
Yeah. And
I really, really enjoy watching her. So I like her, and also Julie Walters.
Yeah.
The Midlands thing, yeah.
Definitely. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I think just don't give up. I think you hear it from so many different people, from so many different places, and in so many different ways, and you don't really take it in sort of in the hard times. But I think when everything's on an up and you can sort of reflect on the bad times and go, oh, that was really hard. Like, I didn't work for 6 months where, and you realise like that it's important not to give up, especially when you've worked so hard for something. It can't all just be for nothing, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to trust in your own skill and your own ability, and that you're good at what you do. And just, it sounds really sort of crass, but just to keep going and just not give up.
Yeah, I think it is really easy in the industry to just have that knockback that you just think, forget it, I'm not going to do it anymore. I can't deal with the knockbacks. But then you have to reflect and see how much you've done and how far you've come, and that you do need to carry on. That's just the way the industry works.
And it really isn't personal. You know, it can feel so personal, and I think because it's the type of job where you're sort of it's quite intimate, you know, you're letting people in, and to just get a no, it's really hard to not take that personally, but it really isn't personal.
Yeah.
So you got to be quite a tough cookie. You got to grow quite a thick skin, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, it's really hard sometimes to not just go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, don't give up.
Cool. Do you have nerves when you're performing, and if so, how do you deal with them?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, you always have nerves, but you sort of have to take that and use that adrenaline and that sort of nervous energy to push yourself further. And I remember when I did my showcase at drama school, it was directed by a guy called Louis Hammond, who was casting director, and he's very I don't know what the right word to describe him is, but he's honest. To say it like it is.
Yeah.
And I remember him just saying, nerves are self-indulgent, just stop it. And I think we were all a little bit scared of him anyway. So we thought, okay. But yeah, I think one of my pet peeves is self-indulgency, if that's a word. And so I do try and be like, you know, just stop it, you know, and do your job. Yeah. So I think there's always a little bit of nervous energy, but I think it's you can't think about it or let that you've got to use it to help you to go forward rather than let it be any kind of barrier or anything like that. Yeah. Having said that, I don't know what advice I'd give to someone who's like, my nerves are so crippling, like it's stopping me from so I don't know, sorry.
That's fine.
Not the most helpful person.
It's fine. Which theatre is your favourite to perform in?
The Rep, without a doubt.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. It's so behind the scenes of the Rep. I've worked there 4 or 5 times now on different projects, and it's just the most magical place. It's just everybody there is really lovely. It's a very supportive environment. And it really is a little community. And every time you go back, the same people are there, and you know, you get to know people, and their sort of pride in Birmingham, and getting creatives that live and work around Birmingham, and the stuff they do within the community of Birmingham is really lovely. So yeah, the Rep, definitely.
Cool. What would you say has been your most challenging role to date?
I think they're all challenging for different reasons. But probably the most challenging, but in a good way, was Delightful, which was at the Rep, because it was all about people who suffer with auditory hallucinations, schizophrenia and things like that. And I was playing the younger sister of the protagonist, Lenny, who was somebody who suffered with mental illness and with auditory hallucinations and voice hearing. And the setup of the show was that it opened with sort of like a almost like a 15-minute monologue from myself. And then I went backstage for the rest of the show, and the audience were asked to put headphones on.
Yeah.
And so Olivia Winteringham, who wrote the piece and played Lenny, she was on stage, and the audience could see her and hear her, but through the headphones they could hear me, and I was working backstage with a binaural head, so where it's like a mannequin's head, with microphones dotted all around. So when you speak to it, the idea is that the audience would hear the sound where it's coming from.
Okay.
And it was to give the most realistic portrayal of what it's like to hear voices and have those sort of hallucinations as possible. And we work closely with a lot of charities and stuff like that, as well as interviewing people who actually, do suffer with these issues. And we got loads of really positive feedback for them. But anyway, I think it was challenging because we were very, very passionate about really being respectful of those stories as potentially people who hadn't experienced that for real, and to sort of really give dignity and give a true portrayal of what that feels like.
Yeah.
And I think that was the challenge, really, was trying to be respectful of that, and also to tell that story as truthfully as we could.
Yeah.
And I think so. It was wonderful, but it was challenging because it was important, and it was important to get it right, I think.
Yeah, definitely. What would be your dream role to play?
Oh, so many.
You can have more than one.
Well, I have quite a silly side where I want to say. So when I was growing up, I always wanted to be Kim in Miss Saigon.
Okay.
And people used to say, "But Meg, you're not Vietnamese." And I used to say, that won't matter when they see my passion. I also can't sing, but that won't matter.
That's relevant,
yeah. So I really wanted to be Kim in Miss Saigon, but that was short-lived. That was when I was young. But I'd love to be in the Book of Mormon.
It is a good show.
I'd love to play one of the elders, but not a man. So realistically, a dream role would be so obviously any of the great Shakespeare ladies. I'd love to do that, or any of the great Shakespeare men. And I would just love to sort of emulate a career like someone like Julie Walters, to have that sort of variety and those sort of important roles, telling the important stories. But it's a difficult question because I don't think there's one sort of play where I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, actually, no, there is. Ignore everything I just said. Forget that. I would love to play Jess in Love and Money by Dennis Kelly. That would be a brilliant role. I'm probably just coming up to the right age for it now, so I've probably got a very short window to make that happen, and then it will have passed by. But yeah, no, I love Dennis Kelly's writing, but that particular play, I do love that one.
Cool, brilliant. What's been the funniest thing that's happened to you on stage?
Oh, okay, I've got a couple.
Okay.
So one is way back at drama school where we were doing Love Play, which is quite a popular one for drama schools to do because it's got so many different roles. And one of the roles is, so I don't know if you know the premise of Love Play, but for anyone who doesn't know it or hasn't seen it, it's by Moira Buffini. And so it's set around this one location, and it visits every 100 years. And so the same location, there's a short scene from starts in the Roman times all the way up to modern day. And in the 1960s, it's like a rundown squatter's house, and there's this young couple, and they're trying to arrange an orgy. And they're called all of the couples if I remember correctly, all of the couples in the scenes, their names always rhyme. So I'm sure it's like Glyn and Flynn. I think I was Flynn. I think. should have read up before I did this interview. And they're trying to arrange this orgy, and they're waiting for the orgy people to arrive. And there's a bit where she opens her blanket to show naked. And so I did have nothing on under my blanket. And I was waiting for the actor that I was working with. It was supposed to be, I would call him twice and he would come on and the scene would start. So there I was in my blanket, and I was like, Glenn, and there was just no answer. I was just like, oh dear, Glenn, can you hear me? And it went on. I mean, it was probably a couple of minutes, but it felt like an eternity. And eventually he did come on, and the scene carried on, and you know, like as I referenced earlier, that nervous energy, I could use it. You know, brilliant actor. But and I said to the guy after, I was like, where the hell were you? And so he was Welsh, and I don't want to really offend any Welsh people with my accent, but he was very Welsh. He was a Welsh speaker, and he was very, I think it's Southern Wales that's got the very strong accent. And so sometimes he would say things, and without meaning to, it would sound comical. And he was like, oh, I don't know, I went back to my dressing room to get my beard and it wasn't there, so I had to look for it. And I was, so basically, he didn't come on stage, he was looking for his beard. So instead of just coming on beardless, he left me semi-naked on stage. Well, he looked for his beard, which, you know, I don't think I've ever really forgiven him for. And the other one didn't happen to me. It sort of happened to us as a company, where it was on Anita and me. And as you know, the piano was on stage behind one of the pieces of set. And for some, we still to this day, we don't know what happened, but all of the notes on a button got pressed or knocked or something, and all of the notes on the piano got inverted. So as he played one note, it would play sort of the opposite note, and it was the last scene, so the big finale. And so Asia goes, my name is Mina, and the piano comes in, and it just sounds awful. And everyone is backstage going, and poor Tom, he's I don't know, I mean, and he's like, and they couldn't fix it, and no, because it was something that had happened on the piano. I think like none of the magical crew that work could fix it, and so he just carried on, and then Asia just went, what's happening, Ned? And he went, I don't know, I mean, should we just go for it? So we had to do the entire first bit of the finale until the wild track kicked in with an inverted piano, and so we were all just looking at each other like, this is awful.
Perfectly normal, it's fine.
So yeah, I mean, there's been lots of moments like that. Luckily, touch wood, nothing has ever happened that's truly, you know, my pants haven't fallen down. I've fallen over a couple of times on stage, but I styled out. That was when I had a change of shoes, and because my shoes got shrunk getting wet, and so, but luckily nothing ever, like I say, touch wood, nothing ever truly horrific has happened to me, thank goodness. But there's a couple, like those are a couple of funny ones that we can laugh at.
Definitely. So from the projects and shows that you've done, have you ever taken any props or costumes home with you? That's yes.
Didn't know you were going to ask that. Yes, I have. I took from Anita and me, I took my headscarf because it was really cool, from Sandy. And then when I went back to do the tour, the wig mistress was like, we just can't find your headscarf, and we really, like, you know, good use it for it. And I was like, oh, I might know where it is, I'll go have a so I brought that back, and it ended up, for that, it got cut and sewed into the wig, so I couldn't steal it again. I'm actually looking at it right now. I stole a poster from the premiere of a film I did.
Okay.
And framed it, and it's over there. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So this is
Cool.
this was a poster. So this, to be fair, that wasn't actually stolen by me. It was stolen by my friend who I'd taken with me to the premiere.
Okay.
And we went to the after party, and he just took out his coat, and it was like rolled up. But I'm really glad he did steal that. Yeah, I've got loads of things. I'm a bit of a klepto now. I've got things like hair clips, and usually it's given to me. Like, yeah. I don't take stuff for the basket. I really, really wanted to take my dog from Anita and me. But it was huge, and it would definitely have been noticed.
Yeah, good chance. Yeah.
So I also had, for Delightful, I had an NHS pass that had my photo on, and I thought that could be handy, but I didn't take that. But yeah, there's all of this stuff you see is from them. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm not too naughty.
No, it's nice to have little mementos though, just as reminders, I think.
And especially if they're given to you.
Yeah.
Without knowledge.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I think when I got to, this is all on reflection now that I'm older, I think when I got to drama school, I had a lot of imposter syndrome. And I find that really sad now. And I know why it was. I had a not so nice teacher at school.
Yeah.
And so I remember at my drama school audition, the drama school that I did end up going to, I went, it was an all-day audition. So you did the morning, and then you either got recalled for the afternoon or you went home.
Yeah.
And I remember at the lunchtime, I'd been sat with two other people, and they were very confident, and when I move here, I'll do this and I'll do that, and and I remember thinking, oh, I wish I was going to get in. I wish I could make those plans. And then I ended up getting in. So it was my first audition, and I scored the highest out of my audition, and I got a scholarship, and so that's that. I don't mean to say that in like a braggy way, but it was my confidence just wasn't there to believe that was me. And then when I got to drama school, it took me a while to sort of step up and go, actually, I deserve to be here. And also I think it was difficult because I was only 18 when I went, and there were people in my year who were in their 40s and, or at least late 20s. And so you automatically give them the, they must be more knowledgeable and better than me and stuff. And they absolutely, definitely had more life experience than me and stuff like that. But I think it did take me a while to grow into myself and to realize that I was good at what I do and that I deserve to be there. And I think still now, some jobs you have to go in and you have to go, hang on, no, what you have to say is valid. And so I think advice to my younger self would just to not listen to this awful teacher who told me that I was too fat to be an actress.
Nice.
So I couldn't hear her through all my fat, so I just carried on. And so I think just don't listen to anyone who tries to as a young person, if you say you would like to do acting, the only thing people will say to you is, oh, it's a hard career, hard, it's a lot of knockbacks. And you're like, yeah, and I still want to do it. So you just have to keep reminding yourself that they don't know, just listen to your gut. It might not be for you. And that's fine. There's no shame in saying, actually, no, this isn't for me. I know so many people that have left the industry, and there can be a bit of like shame around that. But but it might not be for you. It's the same as me going and doing any other job and going, actually, I don't want to do this. But if you're that set on it, just don't listen to anyone who puts you off, and just learn as much as you can, so that you can be confident in knowing that you deserve to be there, and that you have something valid to add to the Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So what would you say has been your most surreal moment when performing?
Okay, I know this one already. Okay, so I worked on a movie, it was my biggest job to date, and it was the movie London Fields that I stole the poster from. So I was working with Johnny Depp, Billy Bob Thornton, Amber Heard, Jim Sturgis, Theo James, Jason Isaacs, like all these big names. And my first scene that I shot was, I don't know why in a lot of stories I'm naked. I'm really sorry. I was naked. But this time I was proper naked. I was doing my first ever sex scene. And it wasn't a horrible, uncomfortable sex scene, but it wasn't a tender, soft lit sex scene. It was quite nasty. And the premise was that my character, not me, that guy, my character was having sex with Jim Sturgis's character. So it's Keith Talent and Debbie Kensit having sex on the walkway outside Trellick Towers, which is quite an iconic building in it's in Ladbroke Grove, so West London. And Billy Bob Thornton came in, watched us for a little bit, and then we had to like notice him and then be like, oh, boss. And that was quite surreal, because they couldn't close the walkway, so members of the public kept coming by, and when they did, you'd have to go, right, stand clear, everyone stop. They'd wrap a silver blanket around me. We'd let the members of the public pass, and then we'd go straight back into it. Just gave you a demonstration of the position. And then so the most surreal, that was pretty surreal, but the most surreal moment was when I wrapped. They took me home, and they took me home in so we would be picked up and collected and driven to certain stuff in cars, but I don't want to say like normal cars, they were nice cars, but Billy Bob Thornton had a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce. So it was a nice car. And it wasn't being used for some reason. They took me home in it. And I remember being like, this is mental. This is amazing. Like, you know, cream leather interiors. I've really made it now. I'm in Billy Bob's car. And they drove me home, and the route they took home, they drove me over Putney Bridge. And at the time, I worked for Top Man in Putney, and they drove me past the Top Man that I had to go and work at in the morning. And I looked out the window from my Bentley, and it was just like, it all just came crashing down, and it was like, oh man. Because one day I was in Billy Bob's car, and the next day I was folding jeans, and it was just horrific. So that was definitely the most surreal moment, was realizing that it can all change on a dime. So
the nature of showbiz, eh?
And that top man, I still have nightmares about that top.
Yeah, I can imagine. So who would you most like to work with in the industry that you haven't done so already?
Oh, everybody. Oh, so many people. Acting wise, like I would love to work with, as I said, Hermione Norris. I'm a really big fan of hers. Really big fan of her whole style and stuff like that. So I'd love to work with her. I'd love to work again with the people that I've worked with so far. I you know, I really have a lot of respect and admiration for those people. Who would I like to work with? Meryl Streep. Let's go high. Meryl Streep. I'd like to work with. And from a creative point, someone like Guillermo del Toro, you know, people like that. Who else? Everybody. I'd like to work with everybody.
Okay, cool.
No.
So you're having a dinner party.
Okay.
Who would your 3 ultimate guests be, alive or dead?
Who would they be? Anne Boleyn.
Okay.
Beyonce. I can't believe I didn't say Beyonce first. I can't believe we've got, how long have we been going? 34 minutes and I haven't mentioned Beyonce. Beyonce, Anne Boleyn, and who would be really fun? Because you've got like Beyonce's, you know, serious.
Yeah.
Anne Boleyn.
She'd have a few stories, wouldn't she?
Yeah, but she also might be a bit like depressed because you know, head.
Yeah, awkward.
Who would be the comic relief? This is such a hard question. Maybe I'd just invite my nan. She's sadly not with us anymore, but I think she would be like, what's going on?
Yeah, nans are always good.
Why is Beyonce and Anne Boleyn? Yeah. So my nan died when I was really little, when I was 7. But I often think like she'd find it pretty, like the world today, she'd find it pretty like crazy. Like, so yeah, probably my nan. She'd be there as well.
Cool. Right, quick fire round to finish off.
Okay, I'm ready.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Sun or rain?
Sun.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Comedy or tragedy?
Comedy.
Musical or play?
Play.
Meat or veg?
Veg.
Hugs or kisses?
Hugs.
Night out or night in?
Both. Night out.
Tour or West End run?
West End run.
Favourite film?
Love Actually, or About a Boy.
Okay. Okay. Favourite book?
The Elephant on Eleanor completely fine.
Say again?
Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine.
Cool. And last one, ultimate comfort food?
Roast dinner, like with loads of Yorkshire puddings and gravy. And
yeah, nice. Meg, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. You said cats or dogs?
Yeah.
Can I show you my cat? Because it'll explain why I said cat.
Yeah, definitely.
This is my kitty. Simba.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, she hates me and she hates that I pick her up. She's absolutely delicious, and that's why I would pick cats. Because I would pick you.
I'm definitely cats. Mine's currently asleep. So.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. You know about the cuteness. Yeah. And dogs are lovely, but she's just magic. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been loads of fun.
Yeah, it's been great. So hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yes, definitely.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.